A long time ago, uh, when I watched movies, I used to like to watch action, car chases, fighting, um, just basically action movies. That's what got me going. That's what interested me. Here, the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, I've started watching Westerns. And I wouldn't watch a Western to save my life, you know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I think it's because I like to see how people lived back then. Um, I think it's interesting to see what people did when we didn't have everything we have now, all the conveniences, when people didn't really have jobs. They had to just take care of themselves and maybe bartered with the guy that lived down the wherever, to get by, traded things, um, which maybe it was rough, but maybe people were I don't know, maybe they were just better prepared for life in general. And I bring this up because I think we're headed to a time where things are going to change, uh, and most people don't think anything can change. They just think everything's going to be fine forever, and I think we're far from that. I think we're real far from that. The dollar, yeah, everybody knows the dollar is losing value, but the real problem is there's countries that aren't using the dollar for a major trade currency anymore, which that's what kept us alive. I mean, in the beginning, it was what we produced, and through the 50s and 60s, we were an industrial superpower, and through the 70s, we became more of a paper superpower. We relied on debt and interest, and now that's fading because the dollar is getting worth less. And it scares me a little because so many people just don't think anything can happen. They they got their TV set, their house, and their car, and their how can that change? Oh no, nothing's gonna. Yeah, it's gonna change. I think it's gonna change, and it's gonna change relatively soon. Is it going to be like an immediate apocalypse? No, but I mean, look around you. Um, it's already happening, and I think no one's prepared. Uh, and we're in a generation now. We got a young generation that I'll say the majority of them are soft. I know some that aren't, but I think the majority are, and the majority thinks everything's just going to be fine and the government will work it out. Well, the government's the one, the exact group you can't trust. That's what's led us to where we are. Them and the elite multi-billionaires that are basically running us into the ground and could care less. We have we've been led down this road of consumerism, which has kept debt high, and that has worked for 50 years. But that debt is finally it's coming around to where the country is not going to be able to back it. And there's other countries that see it and are already getting away from it. The dollar used to be the major trade uh, currency all around the world, and it is not anymore, and it's slowly becoming less. Um, it's something to think about. And what can you do? Well, I mean, we're so far down that road now that I think we're just going to go through a spell that's extremely difficult for many people. Um, the best thing you can do is, and I say it over and over, is get the hell out of debt. Live with what you need, not with what you want. Um, I know it's, there is a growing number of people that are wondering why they work anymore, because all they're doing is scratching to get by, as their taxes, insurance, and medical goes through the roof, uh, and they continue to need that expensive car and that big house. It eventually is going to lead to a major uh, downfall. I mean, I go back, and I'll tell you, I've watched the Western movies, and here lately I've been watching stuff from the Gilded Age, the age of the industrial boom of the Rockefellers and the Carnegies. I've been kind of into that era, and it's funny to watch how people lived in the 20s because they threw money around like it was never going to end. And in the 30s, people were standing in soup lines. Um, just don't think it can't happen again. Don't even think for a minute that can't happen again. You could lose everything you got in a blink of an eye, and there won't be a damn thing you can do about it. The more you own outright, uh, the more you can stay out of the system, the better off you'll be able to, the better position you'll be in to survive something like that. Um, the other thing I see is, oh, invest, invest, invest. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Guess who loses? You, you. The billionaires won't lose a penny. In fact, they get richer every time there's a big collapse. The people lose all their money, and the billionaires get richer. You can go back to every crash there's ever been, and the richest get richer, and everyone else suffers. Um, I know this is kind of a doom and gloom video, but I think it's important to know, and it's important to be prepared the best you can. Um, like I said, debt is the enemy, um, and it just go with what you need, the bare basics. Um, Something to think about. I just don't want to throw a bunch of doom and gloom out there, but things are going to be happening, and they're going to be happening relatively soon. In fact, it's already happening. It's been happening since 2020, and don't think you're going to vote somebody in that's going to change it. That isn't happening. I don't care who you vote, red, blue, doesn't matter. It is happening. In fact, being part of the people that classify themselves red or blue is almost idiocy. Um, you almost have to be a damned idiot to think either side is going to do anything. If you can't see by now that they haven't done anything but self-serve and get the billionaires richer and the insurance companies richer, and look at places like BlackRock that are they're like buying more property than you can imagine and jacking rates up for everybody. And is the government stopping them? Are they regulating them? Are they going to regulate them? I don't care who you vote in. That ain't happening. Uh, it's time to think real hard about this political mess we're in, and to see the light. It, it doesn't matter uh, what side of government you're on; they're both corrupt. Neither one's saving you, uh, and we got lifelong politicians in there that have been doing the same thing over and over. Can't get term limits. They get paid for the rest of their life, even if they do get thrown out of office. I don't know how this all got to be to where it is now, but it did. And for anybody that believes the government is going to be the savior, well, all I got to say is God pity you, because it's it's not happening. Uh, they've done a good job of brainwashing a lot of people. Um, but look around you, study the statistics, don't watch the news. You know, study what's really happening instead of what they tell you is happening. Things like this Epstein thing, it's just all it is to keep you from looking at what's really happening. Um, and that cracks me up. I just saw a thing on Epstein, 3 million pages. I'm like, wow, seems like they could have got him 2 million pages ago. 3 million pages of crap on Epstein. And how do you get that many pages on one person? It seemed like, after 100,000 of criminal behavior, he'd have been locked up. But now they had another 2,999,000 more pages. Anyway, um, thanks for listening. Uh, if you're still healthy, still got a roof over your head, that's good. Get out of debt. That'll give you some more freedom. And I'll try not to be so doomy and gloomy next time. Anyway, like and subscribe.